Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Door to Deceit. I'm your host Ash, and I'm happy you're here. I always like to thank y'all at the beginning of the episodes because I really do appreciate all of the support. I appreciate y'all listening, and I genuinely hope you enjoy this episode. Now, let's get into it. Mary Kay Letourneau, Anna Lee DeTore, and Brittany Zamora. What do all of these names have in common? Well, I can think of a few things, but the main one is, child, apparently they all like little kids. Our story begins in Buren, Washington with Mary Letourneau, a married mother of 4. Mary and Steve, her husband, have been married for 11 years when, as a 34-year-old teacher and respected member of the Shorewood Elementary faculty, she began her assault on her victim, Villy, and I'm not even going to try to say his last name, and I'm not sure that's how you say his first, but baby, he's Villy today. Either way, this is a 12-year-old boy in the class that she taught, okay? In June of 1996, the two started to have a sexual relationship. Now, Villy, when he's questioned about this later on, of course, he says he welcomed it. Right? I saw the Lifetime movie made off of this fucking case, by the way. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a good movie. But the point is, girl, in the movie, they, also went with that narrative that he welcomed, things. And also in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but if I'm not mistaken, they even tried to make it seem like he was pursuing her first. Like, girl, he's 12. Are you dumb? This boy is as old. This boy is 1 year older than how long you've been married to your husband. That is insane. Not sure why she did not feel like that was also insane, but period. Anyways, almost a year later, in February of 1997, Steve, Mary's husband, ended up finding love letters that this, I almost called her out her name and she is passed, let me stop, that this lady wrote to Villy. And I was able to find them online, but baby, I promise you I'm not reading that sick ass shit. It's just not gonna happen. So we're gonna move on with the story. Steve held it down, okay, after he found the letters. He did not report, the crime himself, but later that month, one of his family members actually reported it to the school, which you will notice as I go through. I have 3 different stories I'm gonna tell about I almost called them bitches again. About the women from the beginning that I mentioned. You'll notice that people always, for whatever reason, call the school first instead of calling the fucking cops. Like, I'm so sorry, baby, but if there's ever a time to call the authorities, I feel like this would be it. Like, I'm not no fat ass bitch. I'm not sitting up here calling the cops for everything, but like, girl, this would definitely be the time to pick up that phone and do. Let me call 911, babe, because you gotta go. You gotta go. Anyway, the cops were called and they took her ass straight to jail, okay? And they charged her with statutory rape. Now, at the time, unbeknownst to anyone, Mary was actually pregnant with her first daughter. And yes, I did say first daughter with her victim. By August of 1997, she ended up pleading guilty to 2 counts of second-degree rape, and she was sentenced to this light-ass sentence of 7 years. Now, in a shocking turn of events, notice the sarcasm, she was released from jail after just 80 days. Girl, talk about all the privileges you can think of. Like, girl, I can't even, like, girl. Anyway. The terms of her release, okay, all this woman had to do was enter into a sex offenders treatment program and not have any contact with her victim, Villy. Of course, she could not do that though. And by February of the following year, she was caught with him in a parked car. Now, the way they showed it in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, they was trying to get their swerve on in a parked car. Now, according to what I've actually found, they were not trying to get their swerve on in the car. Actually, they were trying to fucking run. Okay? They were trying to get up out of there. It's literally assumed that they planned to leave the country because they had $6,200 in cash. They both had their passports, and she had receipts for $850 in clothing purchases. So, of course, they arrested this bitch again. Because at the end of the day, girl, you're on parole. Like, you're out on parole, baby. You're still, like, tethered. Like, you can't go anywhere. You damn sure can't leave the country. And you for fuck sure cannot leave the country with a child that you fucking assaulted and got sent to jail for. And they told your ass not to be around him in the first fucking place and stuff. Like, what are we doing here? So, there was that whole thing. Okay, so of course, they ended up arresting her ass again and they sent her right on back to jail. And they made her serve the rest of her 7 years because she violated her parole by going near him. And then on top of that, girl, you should have got an extra charge because you was trying to flee. But once again, those privileges popped up. Love that for her. Anyways, once again, upon entering prison, Miss Mary Mac found out that she was pregnant again. Like, this lady is so fucking fertile. Like, it's unreal. I'm sorry, that just tickled me, but it's unreal. She already had 4 kids. Like, damn, sister, you popping it again? That's crazy. But anyways, once again, upon entering prison, okay, she found out she was pregnant, and in October of 98, she gave birth to her second daughter by, and I'm just gonna call him V because I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. So she had her second daughter by him. At this point, Steve finally divorced her, okay? I don't know why it took Steve this long. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I get it was 80 days, so maybe in that time frame he was just like, no, I'm gonna give it a chance. But like, girl, what are we giving a chance to? Like, we have kids, babes, and clearly you're attracted to the, well, not to them, to our kids, but like to kids in general, baby. And I don't want you around my children. Like, I don't want you influencing them. I don't want you around them. You gotta go. But of course, he ended up giving her another chance, I guess. And I guess maybe for the kids, because they do have 4 of them. But then she fucked around and had another child. Like, I don't even know how he held on through the first baby. Because, baby, I promise, if you have a baby on me, I'm up out of there. And then on top of that, you had the child with a child. Like, girl, I'm super duper up out of there. You're wildin'. You're absolutely wildin'. But it took him a minute. But eventually he did divorce her and he moved all 4 of their children to motherfucking Alaska. Baby, he said, bitch, you tried that? He got them up out of there, okay? And as for the 2 daughters that Mary had with V, they ended up in custody with his mom. So as of August 2004, Mary was released and a judge actually ended up lifting the order that disallowed contact between her and V because at that point V was 21, so well overgrown. The 2 ended up actually getting engaged as soon as the order was lifted, like just about as he lifted it, he signed on the dotted line. They were like, yeah, let's get engaged. Let's get married. Like, yeah. And by May 2005, they actually did get married. So, I mean, I guess this is a sick story with a happy ending. Question mark. The couple, which I will call them that now since he's of age and they're married, they would actively cash in on the taboo of their relationship. They ended up selling their wedding video to the press, which I find just such an American thing to do. And V apparently was also a DJ, and they would host a series of Hot for Teacher nights at the clubs that he would DJ at. Like, period. What y'all making a joke out of assault? Love that for y'all, I guess. Question mark. But I guess all of that was really in vain because by 2017, the 2 ended up divorcing. And then by July 2020, Mary ended up passing away from cancer. And I do actually remember hearing about her passing during 2020, but I just kind of assumed it was probably from COVID because everybody else was getting taken out by that motherfucker. So I was like, oh, probably got her ass too. But come to find out, it was some kind of cancer. And V actually ended up moving back to Seattle from California where he was at. And he stayed with her for the last 2 months of her life and he took care of her every single day. So, I mean, even though their beginning was disgusting and illegal, clearly, and obviously their end to their marriage was probably a bit messy, it still is, I guess, nice to see that they had love between one another. Enough that he would come and take care of her as she's ailing and dying. So, you know, I guess as far as endings go, this one is about as happy as it can get. So, period. Okay, so that leads us into case number 2022 of Anna Lee DeTorre. Now, first of all, I want to punch you in your fucking face, Anna, because bitch, your last name made me restart this podcast like 4 times. That's really fucking annoying. Anyways, moving on. God, I keep want to call him. I'm just going to call her a bitch. She's not dead. This bitch did not even wait until she became a teacher before she started her shit, y'all. Okay. Anna was a 24-year-old student teacher at Liberty Junior School when she was indicted in November 2022 on 1 count. Now, mind you, the kids had just got back in school. And you decided to cut up. They got her on 1 count of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and that is a 4th-degree felony, mind you, okay? She was also charged with 11 counts of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, which is a misdemeanor. Now, in case you're wondering what in the hell that means, basically, it means that this weirdo showed, gave, or offered porn or pornographic material to someone underage. So, yeah. The crimes that occurred between May 21st of 2022 and August 30th of 2022. Now, there isn't a lot of information on this case, despite it being pretty recent, but what I do know is things have been kept kind of under wraps because the person involved is 14. And typically when people are underage, especially in current news, like the other case was from the 90s. They didn't really give a fuck about nobody's privacy, so everybody knew everything. This time around, it's not as publicized who the victim is because they're a child. So, not too much information. And to be honest, I don't want too much information because I don't need to hear that nasty ass shit. Moving on. Anna ended up pleading guilty in February of 2023 to unlawful sexual conduct with a minor and of 1 count of the disseminating thing. The other 10 charges were apparently dismissed. Once again, that privilege popping up in exchange for her pleading guilty. So in April of that same year of 2023, Judge Noah Powers II, he sentenced her to 5 years of probation. Girl, anyway. She was also made to complete the Monday Correctional Institution program, and it offers sex offender and alcohol treatment, and it takes about 6 months to complete. So basically, this bitch got 5 years of probation and 6 months of talking to people for attacking a child. Because, bitch, that's what this is. It's an attack. Anyway, she'll also not be allowed to have any unsupervised contact with minors, and she has to maintain full employment and abstain from alcohol. She also now has to pull a Mr. Petty and register her residence every 180 days for 25 years since she's classified as a Tier 2 sexual offender. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't have any words. This bitch is on the registry for longer than she has been alive. Like, not at this point, obviously, because it's been some years, but like at that point of sentencing, I'm pretty sure that bitch was y'all. Anyway, I'm moving on. The last case, okay, this is actually the one that made me change my mind about the kind of case that I was going to do for this episode, because I had every intention of doing what I normally come here and do my little murders and do my little 1-2 and tell my little jokes and blah, 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 blah. Girl, I was on YouTube, okay, minding my business. I look over to the right and I see in my recommendeds, there's a video of this pretty white lady and she is, in a mugshot. So I was like, girl, what is it giving? Baby, the title was something to the effect of her having essayed a child as their teacher. I ended up clicking the video, and of course, down the rabbit hole I went, okay? I'm pretty sure her interrogation is somewhere on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But y'all know me, I don't like to watch them long ass interrogations. I used to watch them, but I would watch them when I was going to sleep, and that is of no use for me here. So yeah. Even if I could find a girl, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't watch it because, bitch, I don't care what this hoe has to say. I don't care what any of these hoes have to say. They're all fucking gross. So moving on to this case, let's get into it. So here's the tea. Brittany was a 27-year-old teacher and she was found guilty of engaging in a sexual relationship with a minor. There's really no scene to set, really. It's pretty black and white. The two, they had text messages that were made public, and you can find them online, okay? But of course, like I said before, with them letters from Miss Mary Mack, I'm not reading that sick ass shit on my podcast. It's not gonna happen. I did read it, but I'm not reading it on my podcast, okay? So if you need context, just think of like how you would talk to your boo after y'all got it in or whatever and did your little 1-2, and then just kind of read between the lines. That's basically what the fucking text messages were saying. So moving on. Brittany was arrested in March of 2018 after the boy's parents became suspicious of his secretive behavior with his phone. Now, this is why I be saying, parents, check them damn phones. Okay, I know y'all don't want to invade your kids' privacy, but girl, at this age, because I think he's like 11, 12, something like that, girl, ain't no fucking privacy. Give me that phone. I pay for that. Give me that phone. I'm going through it. Like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. Check them phones, y'all. Anyways, the parents ended up installing a monitoring app on his phone and noticed that he was calling someone baby, so they talked to him about it. Now, of course, he claimed that it was just a girl from school or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But with more questioning and then putting the pieces together, the parents figured out that it was his fucking teacher, Brittany. Okay, so apparently, Miss Brittany so bold, girl, she thought her privilege was gonna get her somewhere, baby. She didn't even try to hide it. There was apparently evidence that other students, had, and that they suspected that there was something going on between the two of them because the boy was getting straight A's, but he was not doing any fucking work. The cops also said that Brittany and the student fondled each other in the back of class while everyone else in her 6th grade classroom was watching videos. Another time, a second boy she drew into this bullshit, who she also apparently sent nudes to, he was told to be the lookout while Brittany and her OG victim had sex in a classroom. Like, this bitch has lost her fucking mind. I've never in my life, no, I'm lying. There's there's a case I should have included, but that case I'm probably going to do completely separately because it is deep, like deep as hell. It goes really far. People are not even in the school and are involved in supporting the assault. Like, it's a lot. So I will definitely be doing that case. But back to this one. Let's wrap this on up. Okay, so like I said, Brittany did not try to hide it. She had a lookout while she was while she was assaulting this child, because girl, that's what the fuck it was. Okay. It's really sad that this stuff was documented and apparently brought to the attention of administrators at the school. And they were actually accused of ignoring the complaints from multiple students who reported their conduct and the things that they were doing. And they also reported it not only verbally, but in writing. Did y'all hear that? It sounds like lawsuit. Law fucking suit. You idiot. Y'all are getting sued. Okay, and the family did just the fuck that, okay? The victim's parents definitely sued their ass, and they said that school officials should have been more vigilant. They should have done more, and I'm sorry, they did not lie. Period, point blank. The family actually decided to go on a little suing spree, baby, and they caught Brittany's husband with a motherfucking stray too, okay? Got him, babes. Alleging that he failed to alert authorities after he learned of the molestation. Okay, so in my opinion, typically I would be like, girl, why y'all suing him? Like, what's going on? Why would you do that? But apparently he intervened in her case and allegedly contacted the victim's family and encouraged them to, quote unquote, meet up and, quote unquote, settle this. Girl, what? Your weirdo whore of a wife has been molesting their child and you're talking about some settle this. Like, it's a link up after a fender bender or something. Like, weird ass idiot. Like, what are you talking about, babes? That's just insane, girl. And that's exactly why that lawsuit was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Yeah, run his motherfucking pockets, because girl, what are you talking about? Brain dead behavior. Anyways, when the parents actually found the text, okay, so this is how she got arrested. When the parents actually found the text, they told the principal about it. And the principal called the police once freaking again. Like, what is this? Why do y'all keep calling the principal or the school first and then letting them call the cops. Call the cops. Like, what are we doing? Call the cops. So anyways, the parents, they found the text, they took screenshots, they showed the principal, and so the principal called the cops. Then they all arranged for Brittany to come to the school for a meeting with the principal, and they arrested her ass right there. Now, I did see a little bit of the footage of her arrest. They were like standing outside with her or something. I think the bitch was crying. Girl, who cares? Brittany, as others did, of course, once she got to her day in court, she pled guilty. She pled guilty to sexual conduct with a minor, attempted molestation, which I don't know what was attempted about it, but maybe that was for the second guy or the second little boy who she sent the nudes to, and then for public sexual indecency, which actually that was for the nudes. So I don't know what the attempted molestation was for, because it wasn't an attempt, baby. You definitely did it. Anyways, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked because A, historically, the privilege. B, historically, people who commit crimes against children, nobody really seems to give a fuck, which is awful, but true. But they locked her ass right on up, baby. 20 years in prison, and when she gets out, she will be on probation for the rest of her life, and obviously she has to register as a sex offender. People, of course, had their go at her in the courtroom, as she deserves. The mother of the boy who she made keep watch that one time had this to say: Miss Zamora lures these boys, earns their trust, and then takes advantage of them, purely to fill her own sexual desires. She used her position of power to molest a child. She's a pedophile and no different than if a man were sitting in her place right now. Ain't that? No lies were detected, babes. Like, hello? Neither of the boys decided to attend court, or were allowed to attend, I don't know. But an attorney for the boy who was molested actually read a statement that his mother made. She said, before, he was an innocent child, and now she stole his innocence from him. Ooh, that is really sad. It's a victim impact statement, so this is what he was reading. She also said, I hate Brittany Zamora for what she did to my son and family. We should not suffer for someone else's sick pleasure, but we all are. She also went on to say how her son is having headaches and depression and anxiety and panic attacks, and he can't focus and all this other kind of fucked up stuff that this weirdo decided to inflict on him. And it's sad. It's very sad, because I'm sure at this stage of life for him, he probably thought that was so cool, and he was probably so geeked to be like, getting with a girl and blah, blah, blah. Because when you're young, your mind doesn't latch on to the fact that, hey, this is an adult and this shouldn't be happening, right? So you just think, oh, I have a girlfriend like everybody else does, in my grade. But you don't. You're being attacked. And I'm sure it's really jarring for him to find out that he was a victim. And not to mention the guilt I'm sure his parents probably feel for not noticing or not seeing or whatever, what have you. It's a lot. So, yeah. At her sentencing, Brittany said, I'm a good and genuine person who made a mistake and regret it deeply. I lived my life respecting and trying to obey every law. I'm not a threat to society. Bitch, are you fucking sure about that? You were an almost 30-year-old grown-ass woman, married woman at that, who decided that you wanted to get a piece of one of your elementary students and groom another. Girl, same shit with Miss Mary Kay. At what point does your brain turn on and say, this is a literal little kid, a literal child that I teach at a fucking elementary school? I just will never understand the logic of these people. Within 3 seconds even, Brittany proved how fake her statement in court was, because right after that, she did a press conference and tried to blame her victim. She sat up there and implied that he seduced her and emphasized that he was a teenager. Bitch, you're 27 and the age of consent in Arizona is 7 fucking teen. That little boy was 13. Now, I'm no teacher, babes, but I'm pretty sure you're a few damn years off. Girl, stop trying to make an excuse. I don't want to hear it. You're insane. For you to try to claim you're a good person, you're not a threat, that is absolutely bizarre. For you to violate somebody like that, it indicates that you have a dysfunction in your brain, babes, and that can't be fixed. You have impulse control issues. You don't have the proper mindset to function in a society. Like, you're done. Period. I'm so sorry, but I'm really not. Like, I don't understand why we can't just lock all of these people up in a city and just lock it up so they can't get out, because it's gross. And I don't feel like that little registry that they have is enough, girl. Like, there's been plenty, okay, of victims' stories that I have read about, whether they survived or not, of people who did these types of crimes against women, crimes against children, whether it's rape or it's some kind of molestation or whatever. Those crimes a lot of times get thrown, by the wayside, and people either don't believe the victim or they don't listen to the victim or whatever it is. And this person ends up getting away with what they're doing, and they get to continue to do it over and over to as many people as they possibly fucking can, because people, for whatever reason, don't seem to care about sex crimes, because I guess they think it's just sex, but it's not. That type of stuff, those types of experiences, that type of trauma stays with you for the rest of your life, even through healing, even through therapy, even through meds. You still live with that. That's still on you for the rest of your life, dude. Like, I have so much empathy for the victims in these cases and all the other unspoken victims as well. And I just hope that whoever did this shit to y'all gets caught, for real. God bless each victim, for real. And I'm praying that y'all can find some peace. But anyways, I'm out of here. Thank y'all for listening, and I hope you're leaving having learned some lessons. And if not, go back and listen again. I'll see y'all next time. And hey, do not forget to lock that door behind me. You never know what could come crawling in.